August. Summer is flying by, and we wanted to do a summer skincare themed Facebook Live focusing on sunspots, because while we love summer and we love fun in the sun with our sunscreen on, of course, sunspots are one of the top summer skin concerns that I see patients coming in and wanting to talk about. So these are one of our favorite sets of products for evening out skin tone in the summer. So let's dive in and start talking about skincare to even out the skin tone, because there are a lot of products out there that are brightening and lightening and whitening. Those are all terms that are used to address skin tone, but there's variability in terms of what really works. So one of my favorite new products on the market is Lytera 2.0, and it's because it uses this ingredient tranexamic acid. And that's something that had been getting buzz in Asia. And Asia is an area that is very much focused on skin tone evening and brightening. And that is an area then that's been a hotbed of innovation for brightening products. And tranexamic acid is one of these ingredients in medicine that was discovered just kind of by accident, because in surgery, when patients have bleeding, it's an ingredient that's administered systemically to stop bleeding, and then they noticed that there was an improvement in dark pigmentation. So it's not something I recommend at this point orally or IV, although I know if you Google this online, you'll see some people talking about that. It's something instead that I suggest topically, because the safety profile is much more established for that. And this Lytera 2.0 has really good clinical studies to support it, so that there's improvement demonstrated in those as early as 2 weeks, with continued improvement then extending beyond that. And in the studies, it was applied twice a day, so that's what I'm suggesting to my patients, and it was applied all over the face, although certainly if you have areas of darker pigmentation, you can spot treat with it. This formulation also has niacinamide, which is a B vitamin, and some phytic acid. And even though you hear acid in the formula, I'm finding that patients are not getting irritated by it. And that's something that I think is really important when you're addressing hyperpigmentation and sunspots, is not to overdo it with at-home products. Some people come in, they're using so many aggressive products, and during the summer, if you overdo it, you actually can make your skin more sun sensitive, and we'll get into that as we go, but I don't advise that. Don't go bananas at home with trying to lighten your skin with areas of uneven pigmentation in the summer and then go out in the sun, because you can just undo all the good work you're doing and actually make it worse. So be a little cautious. That's one of the reasons I really like this next product, which is called Allure Advanced Brightening Lotion. It uses an enzyme, they call it melanozyme, the technical term is lignin peroxidase, and it comes from tree bark. And you may notice on older trees, and we have some tree bark here in our boutique, there are some areas of light bark, and that enzyme in the tree bark that makes the light areas over time actually in the skin also works to lighten pigmentation. What I like about that product is it doesn't have acid. So it's really nice to work in with other products if you have sunspots or melasma or dark marks from acne that in the summer really act up, which is why people do tend to come in the summer and really say, my dark spots are worse, my melasma is worse, my PIH, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation from acne or from shaving bumps, is worse in the summer. It's nice to be able to cocktail your ingredients and mix in things that don't have as much potential to irritate the skin, like a non-acid product like this. I really also am a fan of antioxidant, anti-inflammatory brightening products in the summer, because again, same theme here, we don't want to overdo and over-irritate the skin when you're going in the sun. So this Caudalie serum, which is their Vino Perfect, is this French beauty secret. It's their top product internationally. And they've done clinical studies with their own volunteers or study subjects, and they looked at 60 people and had them use the product. And they had really nice clinical studies in terms of improvement. Is it as powerful maybe as some of these physician-only products? Maybe not quite as powerful, but for someone who wants a natural plant-based approach, this comes from grape seeds and grapevines. It really works well. And one of my tricks is I sometimes have patients mix this into the more powerful clinical serums, and we find that not only does it have this great experience of using it, which the French are always really good at, I find, but it calms the skin, preventing irritation from the other products.
So this is a really nice mix-in to other brightening elements in your regimen. Another great clinically proven ingredient for brightening, and it's pregnancy safe and breastfeeding safe because it comes from sugarcane, is glycolic acid. And when you're creating an at-home regimen, it's important to think about glycolic acid and the alpha hydroxy acids, because when you exfoliate your skin routinely, you're removing the dead skin cell layer that just prevents good absorption of all the other great products you're using. And this one by Natura Bissé, the Glyco Extreme Peel, it's probably the most powerful at-home peel that I've ever found. And you actually have to be careful not to do too much with this, because if you're not careful, you could overdo it and get a little bit too intense of a reaction. So I'm gonna ask someone to press low power mode on my phone there, just so I don't run out of battery while we're filming this. It's been a long day and my phone is on its last legs here. Nope, do you press low power mode? No? Okay, I'm just gonna talk fast so it doesn't die here. So exfoliating routinely here, never mind, I'm just gonna talk fast. Exfoliating routinely at home is going to not only enhance absorption of the other products, but is going to break up clumps of pigmentation when you use a glycolic product. And we know this from really good studies in the dermatology literature, that when glycolic acid absorbs into the skin, it breaks up those clumps of pigmentation. So incorporating that kind of product, starting out maybe 2 times a week, then maybe 3 times a week, will help enhance the results from your other products. Now, perhaps the most important type of ingredient if you have hyperpigmentation is sunscreen. And not just any sunscreen, but a sunscreen that contains a mineral filter. And it's kind of easy to look for one that has mineral ingredients, because all you need to do is read the label for zinc and titanium. That's it. You don't have to worry about all the names of the chemical sunscreens, just look for zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. Those are the 2 mineral sunscreens that can be found in any formula. And this from South Korea, thank you Farmer. Their water sun cream is an SPF 50 PA+++, which is the highest rating that can be given to a sunscreen. And I checked the original broad spectrum testing and SPF testing that was done and submitted to the FDA on this product, and it really, really passed the testing. And I checked because it's so lightweight, you almost can't believe that it has this high protection. But this has mineral and chemical sunscreen. And the nice thing about it is you don't feel really heavy and gunky when you put this on. But if you are not wearing a high SPF sunscreen, all of the rest of the brightening you're doing is just not really going to work that well in the summer, because even if you are, and some of my patients say this, just kind of going to work and coming home, being in the car or commuting back and forth, you are going to get exposure. And windows in the car, in the metro or the bus, you are still getting UVA exposure, which is the pigmentation causing ray, and the sun aging and skin cancer causing rays, even though UVB is not coming through, and that's the kind that would give you an obvious burn. So that is a big tip for treating hyperpigmentation, is don't just rely on, oh, I'm not getting a sunburn, so I'm fine. You really need to protect your skin with sunscreen, a mineral-containing sunscreen, or else all of the other kinds of treatments you're using are not gonna make that much of a difference. And if you have the more tricky to treat pigmentation, like melasma, which is the kind that can cause patches on the cheeks or upper lip or forehead, there are studies that suggest that even visible light, like the kind you might get inside of a workplace or office or your home, can contribute. So all the more reason to wear a physical protection. Now, if you have any brown spots that are new or changing or don't look like the others, absolutely see a board-certified dermatologist and get it checked, because that could be concerning for an atypical spot or even a skin cancer. And if your pigmentation is not budging fast enough with at-home products, in-office procedures like chemical peels or lasers can definitely make that difference to get you where you want to go. And there are lasers now that are not pigment selective, which we can do in the summer. So it used to be that laser was a winter sport, only really between October and April, and then if you were going on winter vacation somewhere warm and sunny, then that was even off the table. But now there are laser treatments like the Permea laser that do still break up uneven pigmentation, but we can have those treatments planned during summer months as long as you're not getting a huge hit of sun right before or after. So there are more treatments than ever before to treat unwanted pigmentation safely and effectively. But the key to good treatment is consistent sun protection, combining active ingredients so that you get a really good synergistic effect, but don't overdo any one ingredient to the point of irritation. And of course that you always are mindful if a particular spot is changing or doesn't look like the others, that of course you see a dermatologist and get it checked. I hope this is helpful. We made it before my phone died, which is a triumph. I'm glad about that. And if you have any other questions, you can post them below. We're happy to answer them. And you're always welcome if you're in DC to come on in and ask some questions in person or try out some of these fun products. So I hope you have a great August. We're gonna have a really fun Facebook Live with a special guest from overseas coming up later this month, and that's gonna be announced this week. So we'll look forward to seeing you back here soon for that. So have a good evening and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.